Hello, my friends. Tony Moore, the culture architect, and what's up? So, check this out. I was talking to our social media assassin. Her name is Amanda. All those cool posts that you see online, that's all her work. She is phenomenal. So, we were having a conversation about the fact that this is our 10th year anniversary. Yay, team. That this is our 10th year in business. And she decided that she wanted to send me some questions and have me just answer them about some of the work that we've done over the years. So she typed up, looks like 5 questions and asked me to answer those on camera. So as those of you who know me, you know I refuse to practice anything in advance. So I'm just going to jump into the questions. I did read them, so I do know what they are, but I didn't sit down and generate any answers. So you are going to get this in the moment. So let me start by telling you the questions. Question number 1, which industries have you worked with the most since starting Tony Moore Speaks and Associates? Question 2, what has drawn you to those particular industries? That's a good question. Have you noticed overlap in the challenges faced by leaders in different industries? Another good question. Yeah, you see why we call her the social media assassin. She is killing it. How have you helped those leaders address those challenges, and does your approach differ according to the industry? Okay, what do you love about working with these industries and leaders? So, are you ready? Or should I say, is that cool? Let's do this thing. Question number 1. Which industries have you worked with the most since starting Tony Moore Speaks and Associates? So I would say that the 2 industries that we ultimately ended up working with the most and continue to work with the most are social service agencies, and these tend to be child and family serving agencies, nonprofits. And then we also work with another group of nonprofit organizations known as credit unions. I don't know if all of you knew that they were nonprofit, but they are. And they are community serving agencies. So those are the 2 that we work with the most over the years. Because I started primarily as a keynote speaker, had no idea that this thing was going to grow as big as it has. So I got a chance to had the privilege to work with a lot of different industries. But short answer is social service agencies and credit unions. All right. Question number 2. What has drawn you to those particular industries? Well, the social service one is easy. That is because I spent my career in social service agencies. I spent my career both in operations, in training, in human resources, all of those kinds of things. And all of my executive experience has been in child and family serving agencies. So that one was a no-brainer. That was something that I was very, very familiar with. The credit unions, interestingly enough, I just sort of landed in that. I received a call from an associate of mine who worked for a company known as at the time, it was known as the League of Southeastern Credit Unions. It is based in Tallahassee, Florida, and then they also have an office in Alabama. They have since changed their name. They are now The League. That speaks volumes, right? The League. I love that. But yeah, so I did some work for them and with just actually with their internal leaders. And that eventually got me some exposure, provided some exposure to credit unions that they were serving. They are an organization that supports credit unions in multiple states. And so I got an opportunity to work with those. Actually, my wife and I had a chance to create something that we refer to as the Leadership College. And we were providing services in Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, which was it was an incredible 3, maybe 4 years. But that's what got us started with the credit union industry. Next question. Have you noticed overlap in the challenges faced by leaders in these different industries? Absolutely. Absolutely. There is one thing that I have believed for a long time, but I can tell you over the last certainly 10 years of being in this business, is that leadership is leadership. Yes, there are some things that are unique about various industries, but at the end of the day, people are the bridge between strategy and execution, and leaders either support or destroy the bridge. You've heard me say that multiple times. People are the bridge between strategy and execution. Leaders either support or destroy the bridge. And so what I have noticed is regardless of the industry, there is one sort of common challenge that I have found, and that is leaders find themselves stuck in the weeds. for any variety of reasons. But one of the most common reasons has been what we refer to as promotion without preparation. And so, like my own career, we find ourselves as leaders being promoted into positions, but the organization has not actually prepared us for the difference between, let's say, leading an individual contributor and leading a leader, or the difference between leading a leader and leading a state full of leaders, or leading a functional area. That with each of those leadership transitions, there are three things that change. One is that our priorities have to change. So what are the most important things that I need to focus on when I move to the next level of leadership? If I don't know the answer to that question, or we haven't focused on the answer to that question, I'm likely to still have the same priorities I had at the previous level of leadership. The second is, based on those new priorities, how do I allocate my time? If, again, without defining those new priorities, I'm going to allocate my time the way I always have allocated my time. I mean, keep in mind, I've been successful allocating my time that way, so it makes sense that I would keep doing what has worked for me in the past. And then the third one is, what are the new, in addition to new priorities, time allocation, what are the skills and competencies that I need to have to successfully execute on those new priorities? So I have found that when one or more of those is out of alignment, that our leaders find themselves in the weeds. And that has been the same across all industries. Next question. How have you helped those leaders address those challenges, and does your approach differ according to the industry? Come on, Amanda. That's a hard question. So let me answer the second question first. No, my approach does not differ by industry. We have actually developed, and this goes into the first part of the question as well, we've actually developed a tool that we use to diagnose what is the disconnect within the system that the leader is leading in. So we have a framework that, if you haven't seen it, if we haven't emailed that to you, let me know, because I definitely want you to see that framework. We have a framework where a culture of radical ownership is at the middle of the framework, and then there are 5 systems that have to be in alignment. So what we try to do, regardless of the industry, is figure out where in the system the misalignment has occurred. In other words, we want to get to the root cause, and then we want to then work with that leader and their team to put together an intervention designed specifically for their disconnect. All right, last question. What do you love about working with these industries and leaders? I love it because they help people. I mean, on the social service side, child family serving agencies, clearly they are helping people in the community. They're helping families that are in need, many who are in crisis, and the work that they do can change the trajectory of a child's life, which can have an impact for generations to come. On the credit union side, well, credit unions operate according to this mantra: we are people helping people. Think about that for a minute. People helping people. They have a focus on the community, underserved portions of the community. So once again, they are giving back and supporting and equipping people in those communities to rise up higher than their current status, which means they also are impacting generations. So why do I love working with both of these industries? The work that we do, I know that if it is impactful, it is going to impact the people who mean so much to me, and that's those that find themselves oftentimes on the outside looking in. Whew. Wow. I don't know how that went. I can't wait to see the recording. I hope you like it. Hey, first of all, think of this. I deeply appreciate your 10 years of support, 5 years of support, 4 years of support. However long it's been that you've been here, a part of what we're doing, I deeply, deeply appreciate it. And with that, I'll just ask, is that cool?